Welcome to the podcast, guys.
Thanks for having me.
Wanted to, do another episode, bring some cool people in. Wanted to bring you in to talk about some drones too. I know Justin loves drones.
Yeah. Bo Buckmaster does drone flying for a living, and I know that flying a drone requires some requirements, a lot of talent and experience, and it requires a super sweet drone. So we're going to be asking him some questions about his drone flying.
I was watching some videos getting up to this because I was thinking about buying that Maverick 3 Pro, and I'm still pretty convinced that's the one I want. But I'd love to hear kind of your story and how you even got into that kind of stuff.
Yeah, I mean, it's kind of a short story, but like it's a fun one in a sense. It's driven from passion.
Sure.
My older brother, I look up to him through and through with whatever hunting, wrestling, drone stuff, but to a point, he's just like, all right, piss off to a point where it's like, yeah, you can use this, but a $1,200 drone later, asking, hey, can I borrow this? Can I borrow that?
Then you start sounding like me.
Yeah, he's like, I love you, but like, come on now. So I went out and bought my own drone, and ever since my first one, it just went up from there. A few crashes later, a little bit of research later, you kind of figure out what drone you like, what do you want to do.
Totally.
And
do you remember which one you started with, or what the one he was ripping around with?
Yeah, I think it was like just a Mavic 2 at the time, something like that. But then I got like the Air 2 West because I was like, well, if I'm going to do the drone thing, let's make some money with it. And then I realized, well, if you're doing money, you got to get the registration and all this and that. So then that's where Up and Around came from.
Sure.
Okay.
And it just kind of stemmed from there, So now I'm leaning into FPV stuff, indoor flights, and just do more of that freestyle acrobatic flow.
I love that.
Mm-hmm.
So to make money, you had to get a specific license.
I mean, it's really not crazy to get, right? It just takes a little bit of time, right? But still, it takes some time, 2 weeks of it, a little bit of studying. You got to go in and test out. There's like 100 questions, something like that, and you got to get like a 70% or more, but it's just for the sake of being compensated, retaining the knowledge of being safe above. DJI just recently unlocked like their geofencing, so like national parks, airports would maybe restrict your drone from entering these zones, but now they eliminated that, so you can just fly freely into there. So
really?
So it's up to the pilot to be responsible.
Yeah, I was going to ask you, I heard that they had changed some regulations that were pretty massive in that world.
Yeah, and that's basically kind of a bit of it. There's so much between like the DJI ban that had a potential with it, where you can and cannot fly. Like I just was given some grief for flying in the Black Hills in South Dakota. That's a national park, this, that.
Really? Who gave you grief?
Just random people on Instagram. Just people who want to know like what's right, what's wrong. No matter what you are or what you're doing, you're going to have that. But you can find pockets where you can take off and land and fly in and out as is. So I'm not trespassing or taking off in or out as is, but there's ways around it, as the gray areas people say. So.
Totally. I've flown drones quite a bit, and I always was borrowing someone's more expensive drone because I've never actually owned one. But I would always just try to override it because I know even downtown Eau Claire, I tried to fly one and it was like beeping at me.
Yeah. I mean, whether it could have been like a helicopter or something, but Carson Park, that used to be a no-fly zone, but they lifted it to 200 feet. So.
What do you mean beeping at you? What is that? Does it tell you that you can't?
It would say that this is like a federally restricted area.
Oh, it says that right on the monitor or something?
Yeah.
Oh, wow. I didn't know that.
Yep.
I've never flown a drone.
Really?
No, well, I want to.
We will.
Yeah, I want to.
We'll
I want to. I brought a little mini helicopter today that I fly. It's my son's toy, and it took me a bit to figure that out. I think it got tangled in my wife's hair a couple times.
Damn.
Oofta. But I know how to do it now.
They look fun. Maybe later we'll have a little competition and see who can fly it around.
Yeah, see if we can land it in the same spot. All right. Yeah, you and I'll do it, and then we'll see if we can land it in the same spot.
I'm pretty good at those things.
Okay.
My hand-eye coordination. But you're well practiced on that thing, I can tell.
There's some people though with like 3-meter sized helicopters that are doing actual acrobatics, up, down, inversions and stuff like that. It's just, for me, that's just mind blowing. So I can only imagine for someone who doesn't fly much and just sees something like that happening, it's like, whoa.
You guys ever been in a real helicopter?
No.
Nope.
I did once. I had a job actually shooting a building in San Francisco, and we got 3 hours of flight time over the city.
That's pretty legit. We're in San Francisco?
Yep.
That's sweet.
The Shard. We were shooting the Shard. No, the Shard's in London. Sorry. Whatever the pointy building in San Fran is. The famous old pointy building.
Wow.
Yeah. I just posted it recently.
I feel like a helicopter would be one of those ones where I'd be like tough about to get in, and then when I'm in it, like, oh god, what I get myself into?
It's just like an airplane. You just kind of hand over everything. You're like, all right, well, We'll see what happens.
Out of control. Out of control.
So when you decided that you wanted to start making money with the drone that you purchased, and you got your licensing and stuff like that, and you applied it to your business or what, you know, that's a whole different thing. Yep. Starting a business has nothing to do with flying drones,
right?
Or you know, or stuff like that. What did you decide to do with the drone? Like, what was your main thing for wanting you to go into business with it?
Just I guess like basic entry level with drone stuff. You know, as like the drone is a tool that you can add to your belt. You know, whether you're thermal, LiDAR, just basic quality camera on a drone for photo or video. So like you can extend yourself from like real estate simple shots to, you know, tying a whole video that's edited for like a wedding. You know, I did a few weddings already where it's strictly drone use, you know, up and down the aisles, in and out of the venues, you know. So I have my Mavic for outdoor use, and then I have my Avatos or home builds for indoor use and stuff like that for different shots and edits and stuff. So depending on what you want, you can kind of vary on how to make money. Granted, we all can have our own drone and go make money with it, but it's how I make it at the end of the day for them to want me to do it.
You still have to have that licensing to make money.
If you want to be competent, but
taxable
income. There's artistic stuff that goes into it.
My biggest competition is just people just doing it themselves, whether they're registered or not. And I'm not going to be like, hey, Max, you have your license.
Welcome to the photography world.
Yeah, you mainly use drones for photography.
I mean, with my whole career, I just watched cell phones like take my job.
I mean, there's no point for a Michelangelo anymore, so it's just like it's tough to defeat it, right?
Well, what you learn is that people pay you for your creative vision,
right? And that's what I'm trying to like push, you know. So
big time.
It's I don't know. It's fun at the end of the day, right?
It's not getting gives that competitive any smaller.
Yeah. So. It's fun. I mean, I love video games at the end of the day. So when I put those FPV goggles on, I can escape into that reality because your brain's firing on all pistons. You know what's coming, what you're doing. You know, there's a whole knack to it, but it's fun. It's addicting, honestly.
Yeah, I really want to get more into it. It's also kind of the future of video. I think like it's why have a human hold it. Or anything hold it when you can like smoothly fly through the air.
Yep, exactly.
Especially those like commercial jobs like that one I sent you, where it's like they're doing something for Amazon or whoever flying that huge thing in the inside, and it's like, and then the guy's pushing the cart while the guy flying it's like holding.
He was trying to do that.
Yeah,
he was running. I mean, that's the thing. I mean, you can have a whole creative experience with a drone. I mean, there's some sick skate videos where the drone comes in and the guy's running, pre-grabs the camera, gets the crooked on the curb, and then you know the drone lifts back off. You know, it's all cinematic fun at the end of the day.
Or you see those people running on the beach and then they'll grab it, they'll do the handheld thing, and then it'll fly back off again for this crazy shot.
Or in my beginning years of flying my first drone, how I lost it, like some of the beginning experiences as a drone pilot, you know, it's like crash, build, repeat, crash, build, repeat. Because that's how you get better. You push the limit.
A lot of crashing in the beginning?
Oh, so much crash. That's how you get better, you know, because you got to push the envelope. If you're not pushing it, you're not going to get anywhere. And I crashed my one drone on an island. And
then you had to go get it.
And the water was high at the time. It was like the 10-year high of Eau Claire 2 years ago, whenever it was. And so I went and got my other drone, spotted it.
Number 6 flood.
Whatever it was, right? And then I spotted my crash drone. The battery popped out. Had a tether hooked to my other drone. Fished it out of the weeds with it. Was bringing it back. And as I'm concentrating on my drone up, it's like not coming back any farther. I'm like, what the fuck, you know? And as I look down, my other drone is just drowning itself. It just didn't have enough power to get it out. And the next thing it pulls that one in. It was pulling
the other drone.
Yeah, so it pulled that one in, and then my other one went in right after it. So
water is a force to be reckoned with.
And it's just like, I had a crowd of people. It was just at Big Falls too. So that little mid-island there. Yeah. So I had a crowd of people like, and I'm like, dude, I got this shit.
Oh, no.
Wow. Did you end up getting them back?
No.
I would have jumped in if I was there.
Dude,
I would have jumped in.
I had a whole plan. I was going to get a kayak, and
they're still there. They're probably down in Lake Altoona.
Yeah, I mean, we need like Diver Ed on the job over here to kind of get in there and fish that.
He'll find it.
Dude, we got Diver Ida in the house.
Yeah, you got Diver Ida. I can dive down there.
It would take some finessing.
I like Diver Ed. I watch Diver Ed. I like him.
His stuff's interesting. I like that.
He's thorough.
Whether he
finds stuff
or finding some good shit,
he does.
It's good shit.
I like it. I like Diver Ed.
I found a magnet at work that I pretty strong, man. It's like, man, I could tie a rope to this and throw it in the river.
That shit's fun content too. You're just like, because it's suspenseful. You're like, what's gonna come up? What is it?
Yeah.
This little editing, and you don't see the 30 hours he put in,
Right?
or you don't see them 10 minutes before throwing that shit in the water.
Well, when you go in water around here, it's so murky and you can't see anything that when these guys are all set up to dive down there and they got cameras, their cameras can only see like 12 inches, if that even sometimes. So, I mean, they're really skimming the bottom.
Yeah, murky. And then when you get that silt on top of it.
Yeah.
I would be down to get into some scuba diving in the lakes.
That'd be fun.
That'd be fun as hell. I mean, I love snorkeling, but there's not enough like reef life and stuff here. But like actually diving down in there for a little while would be
the fun. Best you could probably get would be like Wazee, maybe down in Black River, because it's so clear down there. And I mean, even they have recreational scubaing, but you got huge like 30, 60-foot trees down there. Supposedly,
I think once you're certified though, you could probably jump in some of those lakes up north. I mean, some of those things.
I think Superior is like 50 all the time or something like
50?
that. Yeah, even it's the coldest one out of all of them. Okay, it's cold, but you can dive in cold. I mean,
you wear a suit.
wear a wetsuit.
But some of these, there's a guy named Scott Walter. He's like a renowned Lake Superior agate enthusiast. He knows a lot about it. He has probably 10 of the top Lake Superior agates in the world. He owns them. But he got in, as he started getting into hunting agates, he got into diving in Superior. And he would dive down in there and they would like dust the, because the bottom's like got sand and silt on it, and they dust it away, and there would be LSA's, Lake Superior agates, just sitting there, and then they would just chisel them out.
Pristine from there,
Some of them are, because they're inside of the basalt.
Well, plus who's been looking there?
Nobody.
Exactly.
Yeah, so they're all still there.
Yeah, they're all still there.
Yeah, so it's like some of those agate videos you see where they just find them offshore. Those are just loose ones. There's ones that are within other rocks and shit, or what?
Yeah, they say that at one point in time there was volcanoes in that area.
Okay, right on.
And when the magma decided to harden and everything, it had bubbles in it because it's liquid, so it was bubbling. And as they're coming up and it hardened, there's all these voids inside of that volcanic rock, and over time, after storm after storm after storm and things happening in the atmosphere, those bubbles filled up with sediment, which would have like silica in it and iron and different things like that. And so it made those agates in there hardened in there. And they say that the glaciers, when they came through the area and pretty much carved Lake Superior did that, it broke up all that basalt, busted it, pushed it down into what we know as like the Mississippi River Valley, and like, because there's three main glaciers.
Oh, down to like the driftless region and all that.
Yeah, the driftless is where there's 3 or 4 main glaciers that came through. Mm-hmm. The driftless area is the one spot that all 4 glaciers missed. That's why it's called the driftless, and that's why it's like this. Yeah. So there's like the Iowa glacier, the Wisconsin glacier, the Illinois glacier, and I mean,
where'd they go, guys?
Right. They don't know exactly.
I think I know. I think I have a. I think it's from the Cataclysm. I think those agates are from the Cataclysm. Maybe I'm wrong. That's a good. But I think when the North American ice cap was slammed 12,000 years ago by a comet and it flash flooded the Earth, I think a lot of things in America happened in this area that people don't consider. Like, I believe that more than I believe there's a volcano around here when there's not.
Well,
I can believe it.
The thing is that there was, because the basalt that it's captured in, they can actually tell. What's cool about Lake Superior agates is that you can only find them in certain areas. Okay? Yeah. And once you get into them, you realize that like you can go up to Lake Superior and you can go just north of it up into Canada and stuff like, and there is no Lake Superior agates. But if you go around here, all the way down through Minnesota, like towards the cities, all the way down even to Iowa, follow the river valleys, they're all in that spot. So there's spots where you can't find them.
But where was the volcano? Or was the heat from a comet?
Well, the only reason they say volcano is because...
But the Earth is made out of lava, obviously.
Yeah, the Earth has that in the middle. But the reason that they think it was volcano and that they say that they know, because I'm not an expert and I don't know for sure, and I wasn't there, I'm not going to claim to know for sure. This is just a theory that people have.
Me either, yeah.
But the bubbles, the reason why they think it's volcano, because these agates are like... They're shaped in these like what they call like a nodule. They call it like an agate that hasn't been busted apart. It's in a notch. We call it a notch. Okay. And so it doesn't look like necessarily really pretty, and that outside husk doesn't. Sometimes it does, but a lot of times it doesn't. But when you cut into it or it breaks apart,
like glass almost.
It's microcrystalline quartz. Yeah. So it's the same thing as quartz. It's the same structure, molecular, but they call it microcrystalline quartz. That's what a Lake Superior agate is.
They're so crazy. I just posted
beautiful.
one. Did you see that one I put up there?
No, I didn't. I'm gonna.
The awful podcasting. Sorry. My old roommate Brady Murphy, who's from Eau Claire, he got me into rock hunting. We would go look for rocks out in Malibu in California, and look for agates and stuff. And I would always just try to keep like big chunks of black marble. And then when I went back to my old house recently, one of the big rocks was still sitting there holding the door.
Oh,
open.
that you found?
Yeah.
That you brought to the house?
Yeah,
that's so cool. I lived in an apartment one time, and there was a bunch of rocks that you could tell that were not decorative stone. They were something somebody put there. My kids are like, look, Dad, what I found is like this sweet crystal. I'm like, no, that's somebody set that there. You know, at one point in time with the drone thing, I've never flown a drone, but I thought when I got into agate hunting, I wanted to learn how to fly one. And I wanted to figure out how to develop software that can fly over the rock piles where these rocks are, and it could spot agates.
Yeah.
Ooh. I wonder, I mean, maybe depending on like texture or color pattern.
You would have to enter a lot of information. Right. You'd have to enter it. But I mean, you can tell AI right now, make me a guy who's happy that looks like he's made out of an agate, and it will do it.
It will.
It will make him look just like an agate. So, I mean, you can even tell him a Lake Superior agate. So, there's got to be software, right?
Yeah,
one day.
I mean, imagine that technology.
Make it too easy, though.
What do you like finding?
If they could do that, they would have done it for gold, right?
Gold is down underneath.
Yeah, it's not bedrock.
That's where LiDAR comes in.
Like when we go rock hounding, it's all stuff that you can see from pretty much
the surface.
Yeah, the gold is in the crevices, and it's in where there used to be old. Underneath.
You guys ever go down those YouTube?
Dude, all the time.
I watch those guys mine for gold, like just paying for gold. I'm like on crack too. You can tell they're all like.
But if it's not that, it's Pokemon packs, something like that, you know. But there's a dude in Alaska who's doing like hydroblasting like these cliff sides and exposing these old mammoth tusks. And
I got a really funny story about that guy.
Yes.
Do you know what I'm talking about?
He blocked me on Instagram.
What?
I swear to fucking God.
You got beef with the mammoth guy?
I don't know. I don't get it. He was selling something on his page, and I DM'd him like, yo, how much is this thing? And then he's like, buy it right now, or I'm selling it to someone else. And then I didn't respond in like an hour, and I went back, and the page was blocked. You're talking about the graveyard, right? Or the boneyard? Yeah. He blocked me out of nowhere.
Did you get like super offended about it, or did you just blow it off?
I was really bummed because I'm just so into that type of shit.
Yeah.
That I was like, what? Like, dude, I was a fan. What the fuck?
He probably figured some pseudo shit was coming.
I'm not that important, so I don't know. It was just like me asking about like I was like looking into buying like a tiny little bone or some shit. It wasn't like.
I feel like all the communities that go out looking for stuff that you can find for free, whether it's a stone, a bone, gold, diamonds, anything that's around.
They're like, get away.
They get, especially if they're established in their trait and they're good at it. For one, they don't want to give secrets. For two, if somebody's coming in, say, just like curious, not wanting to do anything, they feel a bit threatened by it because they have secrets. And the reason why people get so hooked on finding gold places, you want to know the main reason they get hooked?
Because of the Anunnaki?
No, because they. It's because they find something. Like, you don't keep going back to a place and over and waste your whole flipping day. Not wasted, but you're having fun. Years. You don't go move your family.
Honestly, there's probably no better way to. Sorry to cut you off. There's probably no better way to like kick back a 6-pack of beer while you're just paying for some gold.
Though. You're picking up loads of dirt, rock, moving big boulders to get to the
Sounds
final
perfect
material.
for my mind that never shuts off.
I mean, we process sand. And just,
you're a sand processor?
Yeah. So from beginning to end, you just think to yourself, just for fucking sand.
Yeah.
Yeah. Did you know that we have quality sand here?
Oh,
yeah.
dude.
I mean, you got
the
whole state is
one of the world. You know.
Yeah.
It's so spherical. They say it's like when it gets like processed, it doesn't smash and like clog filters.
Another thing I think came from the impact.
The sand.
Perfect sand. Could be. I mean, yeah.
All the geologists out there are like, this guy's a fucking idiot.
Give me some like I was just looking at my book, Fingerprint of the Gods with Graham Hancock.
Bro, read it. Love it. Love Graham Hancock.
Tell me something about the book.
I haven't read it yet.
Oh, okay.
I'm sitting there just flipping through it because it's a thick one. So
It's a thick one. Do the audio book. Do the audio book.
Yeah.
What is it supposed to be about?
Ancient civilizations.
Oh, okay.
How do you pronounce it?
Atlantis.
I read it.
Oh, cool.
I read all his books.
Oh, wow.
Shout out Graham Hancock.
Yeah.
I fucking love you, dog.
Yeah.
He's just a journalist / adventurer, but he's on board with the younger dryas theory and the whole idea that there was like a lost civilization back in the Ice Age. And Fingerprints of the Gods is pretty much him kind of laying all that out. I mean, that is pretty kind of an old book now. It's from like maybe the 90s, I think. So back, he was kind of alerting everybody to these sites and like, hey, this global cataclysm, it lined up with like all the geology. And
then you have like your naysayers say that didn't happen, that wasn't a thing, you know.
yeah.
And then,
but now he's got a Netflix show, so suck it. I do love him. I gave my uncle and my dad his book actually for Christmas a few years back. But it's like this thick.
It's a good one though.
Yeah.
It should be good. I know, and then I read like Chaos, where it's like MK Ultra stuff, you know, and like all these like hidden government jobs that were infiltrating.
I think
like,
I
the
heard about
public and
that.
all that. Yeah.
We were just staying in Laurel Canyon actually, where they were doing all that stuff.
Ooh,
yeah.
Yeah, and the Manson murders and stuff like
Yeah,
that.
yeah.
So
that's very cool. I'm into that kind of tinfoil hat stuff.
yeah, very much.
Although Graham Hancock is probably right. I think he is, dude.
What is right though is having a tattoo shop though in Eau Claire for 20 years now. You said
20 years.
Okay.
Honestly, any business for 20 years, like, congrats.
Yeah,
Did it,
dude?
did
For
it.
real. You
I was
remember
at work today.
You remember your first few years?
Yes, I do.
How'd it go?
I took a loan out for 20 G's from a
20.
bank. 20 G's, and I was gonna spend it all, and I only ended up spending 14
Damn.
to do it, and I don't think I could have done it without a tattoo artist that was already established here in Eau Claire.
Yeah.
He told me, he said, man, I got the clientele here. He said, I believe in you. I trust you. And he said, start the business up. And I did. And I owned it. He didn't want to be business partners right from the get go. And a lot of his people, that he had already been tattooing in Eau Claire, came there, and it was fun. We had a really fun, we still do, but we had a really neat, vibey shop in the beginning. There was a lot of Max. You were one of the first clients at Midwest Tattoo back in the day. You were doing photography already.
Was I? I don't know what year did you open?
You were shooting. We opened in 05.
Yeah, so I graduated high school in 05. I started shooting my freshman year of high school.
You came into the shop like around 06.
Probably.
Did you shoot in the shop at all? Or are you getting tattoos?
Oh yeah, he did a full shoot.
Oh really?
Oh yeah.
That's legit.
But
dude.
those,
Okay.
even those years,
That's sick.
that was probably 5 years later. Those shots.
Oh, was
that
it? Those shots are 5 years later?
Probably.
Oh, okay. Okay.
Because that was like, I was in New York. I came back that one time. Though if we're thinking of the same shoot, like with you in the car and Renee.
Oh, before that. The shoot before that, when Salty passed out in the bathroom, it was the opening. Yeah. It was the opening of it. We had a grand opening.
Oh my God.
I think
I didn't remember that until you said that.
Yeah, we did.
I remember him passing out. Someone got tattooed. Maybe
you had
Brian.
a backdrop in Midwest Tattoo. You brought a big backdrop in. You had your lights.
Probably.
You did.
We used to have fun.
Salty got
I was
blasted.
always trying to create.
Aaron Saltness got blasted and locked himself in the bathroom.
Yeah, I remember we had to get in there to open it up.
You got in
Now
there.
he's got like twins that are like
shout out
14
to Salty.
years old or something.
Did he pass out in front of the door or something or what?
Yeah.
He did.
Yeah, he passed out in the bathroom, like with the door locked, and then you had a key, I think.
In the middle of a photo shoot and a whole grand opening and everything.
Did I shoot a girl there?
You did. She had piercings all down her
Yeah,
back.
I kind of remember this now. I think photo school maybe must have been happening.
We did flesh hook suspension too, where we pulled a car
In the
with
shop?
hooks in our back behind the back.
I didn't shoot
You
that.
weren't there. You didn't shoot that.
Yeah, I didn't shoot that.
That's hardcore, dude.
Yeah, we've had some videos shot. I mean, there's been some wild. There's been some cool stuff shot in Midwest Tattoo. There's a band out there called Gangs, and it's a project that a bunch of bands have together. They got some pretty neat music, and they shot a promo for their album that came out on April 20th. They shot it there, and it was pretty neat.
Like this April last?
No. This is years ago. Back in the day when they had come out.
Anybody?
That's sick.
I'll just put it here, and if you want it, you know where it is.
So now on Water Street, because I mean, she had Midwest on Water Street at that time, brand new tattoo, skin prints.
Yeah, Artisan was in.
That's when Racy's was cool.
Yeah, I mean, we were at down on Water Street before Racy's had even moved to the Nucleus when it was just Racy's.
Yeah. Whatever happened to that Jeremy guy?
Jeremy sold races.
Did he?
Yeah.
Good for him.
Jeremy sold races. He did it for a long. His mom created a lot of the recipes that come out of there. That's what I was told. I don't know 100%, but I've tattooed Jeremy a couple times.
That's cool.
Yeah, they had some pretty good food there.
That's when you came into owning the shop. You already had some tattooing experience. You were ready for that.
Yeah, I was working
for that jump to.
I was working for Artisan.
Okay.
I was working for Artisan and had been tattooing for quite a while. And then Jonah, another tattoo artist here in Eau Claire, he owned a shop called Top Hat for a few years, and then he sold that shop. And he moved right over to Artisan. So one day I came to work, and our boss Blake had told us, "Hey, guess what? There's a new artist here," and it was Jonah. And so that's how I met him. It was awesome, and he was awesome. Jonah's been an inspiration for a lot of artists around here. Like whether they like to admit it, say it or not, I can guarantee you they are, because he is a really good tattoo artist, and he knows how to draw for tattoos. So
he's good at his style.
His style. Yeah, I mean, and it's people will call it his style because they've been getting tattooed around here for so many years. But he just basically approaches it from a traditional standpoint, and he adds his own flair to it. He likes making his own little.
He's
things.
a true artist for sure. He's the only person I walked out of for a tattoo. I had a session.
Really?
He put it on my back, and I was like, nah, and I left.
Hey, and you're not the first one to do it. So.
I'm glad I didn't get it. I thought twice about. I'm so glad I didn't.
That was a good story.
That's a tough thing to do, though.
It is tough because that's
it was a snowboarder doing a hand plant on my back. I'm so glad I didn't get it.
But you're an artist. Yeah. And you're finicky about the way things look, so it's understandable. Like I mean, it's understandable.
Yeah, 100%. I mean,
the fact that you did it's epic.
Yeah, I didn't remember that. So you said Top Hat, and I was like, oh yeah.
I respect people that say no. I have to say, I'm learning to do that.
Well, that's why tattooing is fucking scary, because it's like, we're gonna get in there, and if you don't like it, it's too fucking bad.
I can only imagine. That's the way you feel. You feel like that, but you can say no.
Yeah, I guess I don't know because I don't tattoo.
Well, it's intimidating. You walk in there wanting to get a tattoo.
Yep. Yeah.
And if you get to a point where you start doubting what's going on, it is hard to tell somebody who's already geared, that, hey, I don't want to do this. Yeah. But I always allow people, when I tattoo them, I let them know. I let them know a couple times, like, hey, if there's something that you don't like, or we get to a point.
Be vocal.
Yeah, and sometimes it's the artist too. I've gotten into pieces where I'm not quite comfortable exactly, and I don't think that I can make this person happy. And so my number one business strategy was tattooing. Besides the art, besides what it looks like, besides the cleanliness, all that is to make my client happy, and so no matter what I have to do, I have to, I love watching them walk away with that huge smile.
Dude.
Yeah.
Like, I mean that, and it doesn't always happen like that, but that's my goal.
Totally.
Let me tell you,
man, I wish photography was that simple and black and white, where it doesn't take like weeks to deal with people. Where, I always thought that tattooing was such a great outlet for artists because everybody wants tattoos. They're not going anywhere. You can make a few $100 if you have some talent. It's great. Where like a photo shoot, it's like a whole, it's a whole process where it's like, it's not just shooting that day or not. And tattoos are obviously, they go on for extended periods of time too. But just the whole idea of like having that as an outlet versus like shooting and convincing people for $100 around Eau Claire. Sometimes I'm like, damn, I should have learned how to draw.
I see where you're coming from. I see where you're coming from with that. I think me being a younger artist, when I was a kid, knowing that I could draw and do stuff, I always thought that my artistic career would develop on something that wasn't so perform right now. Mm-hmm. Because performing right now on the spot is something that is intimidating. It's hard, and you don't get to look at it for a long time. Where you get to shoot your pictures when you're shooting them, you're doing a little editing in your head as you're looking at them. You're seeing what you want to see, but you're saying, hey, later on I'll deal with this.
Yeah. Which is nice because, I mean, that's something, I'm sure there's sometimes you wish you had more time to work on certain things.
Definitely.
Because it's like you only want to pay this much X amount per hour, and
definitely.
Or like if you do those long stretches, I know for me and how my creative work works, like after you get into 4 or 5 hours of working on something, are you really doing your best work still?
Right.
I don't know, but you're getting through it.
Right.
Yeah.
Bo, you have a large eye tattoo on your neck.
I do.
Was it? I mean,
It's very similar to my tattoo on my hand too.
This
it is
more or less story experience related tattoo.
Like when you got it, you know, it's a bold move, and you can't quite cover it up. Did you have any
cover that with a beard?
Well, a beard. He could with a beard or a turtleneck.
Yeah.
But like, you know, did you have any part of it where you were like, man, I can't believe I'm doing this, or should I do, or like when you got done,
or the next
there's no
day,
choice,
or the next day where you're like, oh shit.
Like I'm a tattoo artist. I know that once you get a tattoo, there's no choice. Like you can't be like, oh, you know, I don't like that. Like it's there.
Yeah, it was a tough one, right? Because I got this at the Villain Arts Tattoo Convention in the city last January for my birthday, you know, and it's like I knew I wanted a neck piece, so I got my inner arm done for my first. I got my whole side done for my second piece. I like big, bold, figure it out later type of shit, you know? So it's just like, you know what? I have high faith in my company, you know, whether like I can give it to my kids or they want to sell it one day, dude.
I like that.
I have passion for that. You know, I have a decent job now where I'm comfortable. It does what it needs to do now. So like it wasn't too much of a question, you know, but like if that happened to be a case, I'll figure it out.
Yeah.
You
so you're pretty open about it.
Yeah, tattoos are more and more lenient nowadays. I feel like it's a statement piece, right? It's like, dude,
there's only been a few times in my life that I didn't want like tattoos on my hands,
right?
And then those situations have always been like not good for me to begin with.
I mean, my mom kind of likes it, so it's not the worst, you know. It's mom approved, you know. My boss doesn't care in a sense, you know. It's whatever. It's more of an experience. It's fun for me, and
I want a neck tattoo.
Just see if I can fucking do it.
You want to trade for some drone work?
Dude, yeah.
Okay, so
I'll
this
fly
year,
in, out, around, whatever. You
do you
need.
have a thermal drone?
Not yet.
You don't have a thermal?
Not yet.
What? Are you gonna have one?
In due time, if I can get my shit together. When business picks up, there's a few factors to play in, but I have everything.
They're expensive.
Expensive, but like, you know, it's like you got all the parts and pieces to do it, but it's just putting it together, right?
Sure.
So
Yes.
Method of the madness, it's there, but yeah, besides little finances and stuff.
Well, how many years are you in on up and around? Right, that's it.
3.
I didn't say that wrong.
3 years.
You know, but like I was just at like the ending where, because it's like everybody who I contact cold call, we got somebody, you know. So I was behind
it takes time to get in.
It
man.
does, yeah. So I think if I can get ahead on the thermal field, whether it's like carcass recovery or like missing people, animal type of jobs, stuff like that, you know, you can bid and quote higher. You know, but yeah, thermal in due time would be ideal, you know, but as of now, photo, video, you know, stuff like that. So
we used one this year. I was looking into it and there was popping up on social media, and a buddy of mine shot a deer and you couldn't find it. And I said, dude, look it up. And so I sent him the link, and later that night, the dude showed up at about 12 midnight, and it was $250.
Yep.
And he popped it out, and he said, hey, I'm going to be here for an hour or two, whether we, you know, if we find it right off the bat, no big deal. They didn't end up finding the deer.
Oh, no shit.
No, they didn't.
Damn.
But they were in a really big woods, and he could only search so much. But there were other deer that they found. I was like, oh, I wish I was there. You know, I normally would have been there, but I was working. But the guy ended up charging him only $200 instead of the $250 since they didn't find the deer. So
yeah, see, like I have a whole business plan for when I do get my thermal thing. You know, so like I'm always like jokingly looking for investors and stuff. You know, so like I had it set sailing, then I had child number 1, had some, you know, things go right with the business, and then child number 2. So kind of had to divert my time and efforts that way, you know. But yeah, once this thermal stuff comes into play, there's people who make good money, you know, and then again, my passion is there. I'll drive if I have to make that, you know, so
keep that desire, man, because kids are important, and that's cool that you say that you devoted your attention over here, because that's what happens. I mean,
shit comes back around.
It does come back around. It does come back around. Don't give up on your dreams. Don't give up on that that mountain, man.
I'll dog myself. I'll be on my Instagram seeing other people thrive and doing better than me and this and that,
it's all
you know.
a lie.
But it's like, you know what? I'm taking care of my kids. I'm winning here. I'm tending to the garden I can touch. I'll get there.
It's not easy, and everybody else is going through the same thing too, in a certain sense.
Nothing on social media you're seeing is someone's true life.
That's the thing, right? Everybody's kind of like,
I think some of it is. I think the way to tell a really crazy story is to use a little bit of the truth like that and some lie. Yeah. I just think that's how social media works. And I think us as consumers, we like that. We like that little bit of bullshit.
Yeah.
And I mean, yeah.
Gives it that edge.
I'm going to give 2025 a lot of bullshit.
Yeah. Get ready, listeners.
2025, we're going live.
Get ready, because this guy's got a whole truckload of bullshit to give.
And I need to quit nicotine.
I'll help sift through it, and I'll give him a little
hold you
shit back.
accountable. Yeah, there you go.
Well, I just mean like I'm gonna put out shit. I'm putting things out this year. Like even these, like have fun with your friends, do it, put it out, keep going.
We
keep
like your
rolling.
angles, Max.
Don't
we like
listen.
your angles.
Don't listen to these fucking people.
Yeah,
you know?
yeah.
Just post to post. Don't you're creating it, post it to post.
Trust me, I spend too much time on there.
I mean, 5 likes. That's almost that's 5 people who appreciate your work right there. That's pretty grateful stuff right there. I mean, like
I just got 110,000 views on something, so I'm pretty
dude.
I'm like, yo,
Yeah,
okay.
that's called making it real, not keeping
That's
it
probably
real.
my best thing of 2024 that I did so far publicly. So I'm like, all right, well,
that's viral.
let's keep going.
Yeah,
Actually, the page that has the least amount of followers right now has the most engagement that I have. I have a page with 72, I think, 1,000 followers,
Yep.
a page with like 1,100, and a page with 300, and a page with like 60. And the one with 60 has been doing really fucking good.
and that's okay. And you know how that works. You know how that works. I mean,
Yeah. No, I think it's because the other, like, man, it's a slippery slope with these people because they want you to censor yourself. So because those other, they took visual dirt away from me, which was an organic 25,000 followers that I grew for like 10 years.
Right.
And then the other accounts, I tried to be too edgy. And once they got on to me through my email account, because all those accounts are run through my same email, right? So they're all linked. They know it's me on every account, right? And so then I keep running into these issues where now, like, even my private account, Flow State Farm, is like blocked from doing things because I shared somebody else's post that they said was against the guidelines.
Okay, so even you get penalized for your friend stuff.
Yeah, so
just
that's
because
why
you shared it.
That's why I started that other page because I'm like, all right, I'm gonna keep everything sexy off here. It's just going to be my behind the scenes and my podcast place to put everything.
Okay,
but I've been cross-pollinating it with the other pages, so it's getting really good. It's getting good
Maybe
traction.
at that point they could just put like a pre-filter, like like this account may post explicit material. Do you want to continue? So you don't get taken away on your ability to be collaborating.
Well, the thing that makes me so upset is like you can go to Playboy on Instagram right now, and their page is edgier than mine, and they don't have a problem marketing their thing. But yeah, but that's
right. I mean, that may not make any sense, right? But like,
so they don't like the little creators. You have to just pay them a lot of money. It's no fun.
It's shit.
Which is why I'm joining TikTok next month. But
yeah,
I've been dragging my feet on it, but it's going to happen now that I don't think it's going away.
If you come up to a gate in life, you just got to either jump it, bust through it, or dig underneath it. Whatever you do, but if your goal is to get on the other side of it, and people don't want you there, there's a reason. A lot of times,
or just go to another door. I don't know.
Yeah, there's a lot of doors. You're right.
But I, this is where I belong. I feel like I belong in the creative space, and like there's nothing else that I care. Nothing gets me out of bed faster than like a real creative project. Like going. Yes. The money it only works until I'm actually saving money. And then once I'm saving money, I'm like, fuck this life.
What do you mean by fuck this life?
Well, because like last year to buy all the camera gear that I kind of took to on my trip to get to that point where I'm like, all right, I can finally fucking do things again because I can't rent things out here like I used to. I got in a bad habit in LA of just renting the gear because I could rent the camera I needed for like $25 a day.
Is there not good stores to rent around here?
Oh, I see.
There's nobody you can rent it from around here.
I see.
There's no market here. I thought about that. I thought about putting all this stuff up for rent there, but then I'm like, then other people are using it. Then I don't know. Things can get fucked up pretty easy. Where I think my camera's already paid itself back. It just took me a long time to have like $6,000 I could put into a camera.
There's companies that rent cars out there, knowing that people like you and me are driving them.
Yeah.
So I mean, it's just part of the business plan. There's insurance. There's that. That's not your golden stuff. Like if you bought like 20 microphones and you rented some of them out, you don't use the ones you rent out. You keep your stuff.
Well, I started my photo career working in a rental house.
Oh,
really? Okay.
So you get that.
Like it was a rental studio and a rental equipment room. So it was like all audio, visual, everything you could imagine in New York City that you would need for like professional shoots.
Nice.
So that's I've always thought about that. Like if my friend Chris lives in California, and for a while I was thinking about just investing with him and being like, you hold on to this shit, but we could rent it like every week.
Yeah.
Not
a bad idea.
Yeah. It's not, if you have extra money, it's not, but camera gear. The problem with camera gear is like 3 years from now, it's outdated.
Right.
And it's so expensive.
People don't have the mindset either. It's like it's not about having the nice new. It's just doing with what you got.
Yeah.
You know? So like
But
whether
Max is
it's
pretty good at
outdated
that.
or not,
Max is good at
still
doing,
works.
Yeah,
You know,
yeah,
like
it still works.
Yeah, you have to be, right?
You have to.
If you're going to be a good artist, you have to be good at using what you have.
To like
do.
ceiling fans and making the most cinematic shots ever. You know, it's just about being creative, having fun,
Having the vision.
dude. Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
Yeah, and wanting to put things out. I think a lot of people are scared to say they're an artist, you know, or they're scared to put themselves out there. Like, no, I really do want to create and put things out.
It's intimidating.
Yeah.
Yeah, but then it's just like that stuff that sticks out there. You go like, what the fuck is it?
I could do that, or you know.
Yeah.
But then once you turn the camera on and somebody asks you a question, you're just like,
What are you doing?
Yeah. Well, you just got to get through it. You got to brute through it a little
Yeah,
bit.
dude.
I think you got to just find your people, however long it takes. But,
Yeah.
you know, I mean, Visual Dirt taught me a lot about like branding and building people around that stuff. And then now it's also like changing too. Like I don't only want to like all of my 20s, it was just about like trying to shoot hot girls. And then I had a job that was in fashion and it just took me all over, you know? But then kind of getting to 38, which is where I'm at now, I'm like, I don't care about that as much. Like I want to stay up in that world and I want people to look at my work and be like, this competes with those fucks that are out in New York and out in London. But, you know, a lot of that stuff takes a huge team and a lot of money and there's a lot that goes into that post-production. And it's like, I don't know, you know, it's like that saying you see on the internet. It's like, I want to create art, but I'm forced to create content. And like, that's how I feel about it right now, where like, even my trip, like I would love to spend 6 months, like getting all 60 people edited really nicely and then putting it out. But it's like, that's just not how the world works anymore. It's like, you gotta shoot this shit and you gotta get it out.
Yeah, but at the same time, you don't want that to be your saying either. You know, you want to look through the fog and through the hassle, and you want to get in and dig into the art because that's who you are. You've always been that way.
Yeah.
Like you see the other side a lot of times. You're good at recognizing the bullshit.
Yeah.
You know, and it's going to be there. I mean, that's one thing I've found out about life and art and stuff like that. And even as an artist, questioning your own art sometimes, where you're really good already, in my opinion. Not that mine matters, but you know, you pull off some really nice photographs with the equipment that you're using already. So I couldn't imagine you having a budget of like say 50,000 or 30,000 even, and to do like a proper photo shoot where you had that stuff. It's just like you wanting to grow your business. You're wanting some drones. Those suckers cost about $16,000 to $20,000. You're raising 2 kids right now. You would do good on a business like that. You would make money, but you just can't right now. You're already establishing it, but you're looking at your vision for later, and you're believing in yourself. And all of a sudden, it's hard with the kids. Go down a little bit, but you got to come back at them.
Yep.
Yeah.
And you've done that already too, Max, and it's been pretty cool to watch.
Yeah, I mean, I got lucky with the beginning of my career with that whole Mariano stuff and like being around the budgets. Like I used to just, my job was he'd go, we have 30 grand for this, we have 40 for this.
He would let you know.
Over here. Yeah, I had to know. I had to oversee all of that.
So
and I was the one, he would show me pictures and go, this is what we're doing. It needs to look like this. Order whatever we need. That's all. That's literally, and then everything was on me.
He gave you the comfort to do the job, which is nice.
So you would go rent it or buy it?
I worked with rentals
Rentals.
in every major city. If we were traveling, it was all going through someone like either I would work with the producer, the lead producer of every job on all of that. Hiring all the assistants, doing all the equipment. I mean, he wouldn't really do much that didn't have at least $20,000 of a budget. Because, you know, he wasn't getting out of bed for less than like 5 to 10K.
And you want to be to that point sometime? Is that where you're going, or do you like doing this because you're raw dogging it at this point? Like you do everything yourself. Like, yeah.
Well, I don't want that lifestyle anymore. Actually, I liked working in fashion and I like shooting fashion, and I don't think I'll ever stop shooting like
you're
kind
good
of
at it.
that fashion vibe.
Yeah.
But as far as like chasing high fashion, it's too much of a political game for me. I kind of tasted that world up there, and it's a little like.
Is there a fight out there?
I'm a person. I'm a kid from Wisconsin. Like I don't know. I just never really liked it. It's
Are you a bit sheltered?
Not anymore.
But you used to be, or what?
No, I was never sheltered. I got
What's
out.
a Wisconsin kid? What does that consist of? Because I am now.
I'm from the lower middle class, so I'm just not rich enough. And there's a lot of, what do they call it? Nepotism. There's a lot of nepotism in fashion. So it's like if you're not from a rich family, they don't even give a fuck. You're just the help. Is
What
essentially
is nepotism?
where you are.
Where like you have to be brought up in
Nepotism is where you hire from families or people you know.
The Medici family.
Like you're not gonna get the Versace campaign but Mariano was from a really rich family from Peru. His dad was one of the scientists that cloned Dolly, and so he came from mad money. And then he dated Domenico from Dolce Gabbana, and that's what really got him his fashion career, in my opinion. But
Mario's really good at what he does, so doesn't matter who his family is. He got into it, right?
Well, the thing about photographers on that level is like at some point the budget is so big that like they just show up and push a button. Like they're not really. There's people that like I used to work for that knew way less than me about. They don't know how to set up lights. Like if you're high enough up on that food chain, you got assistants who have assistants.
But that can't be that fun. That just can't be.
It's fun when you. It's fun when you make.
It's got to get stale.
Yeah, but you make the. No, it's not stale. It's
hiring so many people.
Right, but at a certain point, it's to be expected, right?
Well, those people love the power. You know what I mean? Like they like running their little crews around and
little posse.
I don't know. I don't know. For a while, I thought maybe I'd go back to New York City and do assisting again, but now I don't really have that urge in me. I'm like, I think it's better to work on something like this. Like, guys, subscribe to my Patreon so I can keep making art.
Right. It's hard to be. So it sounds like you enjoyed the process of making the art, though.
As soon as I got hooked to like the Patreon stuff and going, wait a second here. You're telling me I can make money off having fun, shooting cool stuff.
Right.
And I don't have to like beg people to pay me, and I don't have to like chase marketing money and like censor myself or whatever I have to do to like, whoever's ass I have to like kiss to get in at an e-commerce place or something, like that whole world. There are so many people that it is really all about who you know. And I know a lot of the right people, and I've had some really great jobs, but in the end, that like circle of that world I don't think is really for me. But I got to taste it. Like I did it, and I'm never going to stop. I'm trying to do like my own creative thing. Like I like the idea of doing a channel and getting out of there.
Right. But getting away from like a lot of people being involved in these projects, or just keeping it really rootsy, because if you have somebody come to you that wants you to do a shoot, say you have Country Jam or you have this festival over here, or maybe there's a model.
That's different. If people want me, let's talk. Okay. But I'm not out there going like I'm a fashion photographer and I want to work for all these companies and like I'm trying to shoot like I'm kind of over all that stuff. I did a lot of it, and unless there is a budget that I can look at and go, this will work for something that you want to do on that level, like otherwise it comes back on me and it makes me look like a shitty photographer when people want things that like they can't afford. And so I got to that point now where I'm like, all right, well, fine. I mean, I'm really good at just doing shots. It doesn't have to be
right.
Yeah,
you've been
it doesn't have to be too complicated.
You've been shooting on a lot of different cameras.
20 years I've been shooting almost. I'm pulling my photo teacher in here soon. Yeah,
that's going to be a good one to hear. If you guys are tuning in or checking this out, keep an eye out for Max is going to have a podcast in the future with his
guys. Actually, believe it or not, this is my podcast.
No, you're gonna have a between the lines. You're gonna have a between the lines with your teacher.
Oh yeah. He canceled on me this week. Thanks, John.
They'll feel kind of like full circle for him, probably. They'll sit down with you, seeing the experience you had, who you shot, the books you've already put out.
Yeah.
I mean, your patron.
I want to learn more about him as a human.
You can pick his brain a little bit outside.
I'm intrigued because it's like this. Without that man, I'm not this person. And
isn't that wild how there's
human? You're like, you are that pivotal person that like came into my life without me knowing. So now I'm really intrigued because, he's retired and kind of bored. And I'm like, bro, come to my podcast.
Bo, you had your brother. He was the pivotal dude for you in making this decision. Right? And you were saying that earlier, and I thought that was super sweet, man. Tell us about your brother.
He's a good guy. He's a little older than me. I mean, he's a hard worker.
How old are you?
Yeah. I just turned 30 in January.
You have 2 kids?
Yeah. 2 kids,
Two
30.
kids?
Yep, one's 2.5, and the other one just turned 7 months not too long ago. So yeah, it's been exciting.
Yeah,
It's a blessing in disguise. Something that me or my wife didn't expect us to deal with so early on in our marriage. But you know what? We fucking pulled the bootstraps up, figured it out, forged with fire, and just trying to enjoy it.
At least you're 30. My parents were 22 and 23.
You just never know when you're going to have kids. I don't think it's really hard to plan, even
You
if
can't.
I don't think you can.
You can't.
And some people,
God's plan, dog.
Yeah, some people can't have kids, and some people can have.
I can have kids. Don't point at me like that.
Some people out there can't have kids.
I can't anymore, so we're done.
Also, no COVID vax. Let's go.
Yeah. right. Hey, I know it's a thing. It's a thing. So now that you have kids and you're going through this, your brother inspired you to just go into and it's hard to take a dive into a business, especially when you don't know for sure if you're going to be able to have income coming in. And you said you have another income. That's your main thing as a mine worker.
Yeah, so I'm a safety supervisor. So I just oversee safety protocols, standards with miner safety, and pretty much just make sure people don't do silly things
in a sand pit.
In a sand pit, yeah. Inside dry plants, wet plants, stuff like
people
that.
People get buried alive or what?
I mean, you hear stories. It happens time to time. Engulfments.
That'd be so scary.
It would be something. I mean, there's times when just simple workplace exams could prevent many fatalities that happen.
Totally.
So just things like that have happened that have caused life. So I tell people, just take 2 minutes to do your roundabouts. No life is worth a load of dirt here. So little shit like that. But I don't mind my job. But like again, at the end of the day, I would love to just fly a drone, whether it's thermal, FPV, photography related, wedding, videographer stuff. Anybody who wants to contract me out for stuff, I want to do that. So
can you fly a drone in a sand pit? I mean, do the companies use them at all?
I mean, depending on their company, you can. I mean, depending on what they want, for sure. Some companies we have come in do blasting. They'll have their drone up there and film the blast where they break up the ground and stuff like that.
Tell your company that you could do any type of, I'm sure they already know.
My boss, I'm sure, would love to, but there's a speculation with like photos and M-Shot getting a hold of the photo and be like, there's something there. So when they do come on site, they'll go right to that spot specifically, Okay. So you got to be careful with what you do media-wise, but like, if you have certain stuff dialed in or kind of like done, you're good to go. I was flying drone for some roofing company that was contracted by Menards. Day one, went in, flew, no problem, got my shot done. Everything's taken care of. Sent the shit out that night. Day two comes around. The guy checking me in, he's like, "What are you doing here?" I'm like, "I'm here to fly drone." He's like, No, you're not. I said, "Well, for the roofing company, I am. I'm contracted. I'm paid, whatever, this and that." He's like, "Yeah, no, we won't allow that." I'm like, all right. So I called the guy who contracted me out, and he's just like, "Yeah, they gave me a call, said that you stopped by yesterday." I was like, "To fly, It's like I wasn't like pertaining to the facility. My shot was just,
They don't know that, though.
Yeah, and that's the thing, right? Their interpretation. It's just like anybody, like the New Jersey drone stuff happening now. Everybody's like, "I'm gonna shoot that shit down." It's like, well, I'm not like pertaining to Max here. I'm not not spying on the fucking guy.
You're not the size of a car either.
But people don't know that when they see a drone. That's the one thing about it. And they're not always recognizable. So when you do recognize one that's flying around and you start watching it, it can make you feel weird.
Well, and that's the thing. It's like between out in the Ukraine wars, you see those videos, and then New Jersey stuff like that, and then you see people doing hunting stuff, whatever, and then the whole jurisdiction stuff comes into play.
Did we switch mics?
There's going to be a regulation on drones. You wanted the one with the.
Am I hot? Sorry, this is an awful podcasting. Maybe I'll cut it out.
Oh no, are you a little hot?
No, wasn't I holding that to start with, or did I grab?
No.
All right, and back. Sorry.
Yeah, so like I think between like new regulations and like PTSD, probably drones are going to be a fucking problem, But then you see cool shit like drone light shows and stuff like that, dude. I've never seen that live.
And
yet.
None of us and I don't know. Okay, I've been in the Midwest, but I don't know if in LA or New York or New Orleans or wherever is anybody doing these crazy light shows. And are those light shows even real or is that AI?
Yeah, no, those.
You know what I'm saying? I don't know.
They look like most definitely real. I mean,
they are.
They're launching like hundreds to thousands of drones at a time. It's all computerly based and programmed up, and they all at the same time. Sometimes they malfunction and run into problems, so you'll see videos where they're raining down from the sky and stuff. But more or less, I mean, they go off without a hitch. but it takes a lot of coordination. I mean, you need a decent sized crew to pick up.
I would love to see a drone show like that. I would go pay. I would pay like $50 to see a really good one.
The problem in America is the regulations, so that's why you don't see that here actually, because you can't. A lot of places, I don't think you're allowed to just do that here. So
that many.
I mean, I'm sure you could, dude.
Well,
I mean,
China's winning the drone war right now
with airspace regulations.
Because you
should
can't
be able to.
You can't manufacture that stuff in the U.S. So
oh gosh,
there is U.S. based drone manufacturers, but DJI is Chinese based, and they just do so good. It's just such a good drone. Dude.
They're doing so good because of our regulations. I'm serious. The technology we tried to stifled it, and then all of that technology, they didn't do that in China, and now they're years ahead of us. So
in drone worlds, light years.
I think it's going to come back now with Trump in office.
They're going to keep it regulated though, because there's new things that haven't happened with drones yet, and we're going to get to see it. I feel. I mean,
for sure.
There's stuff that
China has like these drone swarms even where it's like 30 plus
slaughter
drones.
bots. Have you seen that shit?
No, but they have these drones. They're going through these forests with like knocked down bamboo, slanted trees, and they're just maneuvering their way through, no problem, reading, analyzing as they're just. Imagine just hunkering down and all you hear.
What about little mini drones that would fly in through somebody's window?
Dude.
Go into the refrigerator. Go into the like somebody opens it, the drone flies in there, puts a little drip of something on something they drink, and then leaves.
Or just lands on it and stays there. I mean, no reason.
Yeah, you wouldn't even know. It looks like I mean, there's some potential.
It's there. It's
probably there.
Hey, nice sound effect.
You guys ever heard of microdust?
Depending.
Like the dust that they have now,
micro dust.
Like they can put microchips. An AI like robot. It's essentially the size of like a microchip.
They're trying to get things to go into your bloodstream.
That's the size of dust. That is what.
It goes into your bloodstream.
It goes into your blood, and you can't see it. It can come in the water. It can come in. It can come in a lot of forms.
Well, where do we go from there? I mean, when there's full invasion on our body,
it's called camps.
But like that treadmill.
I love camp. Oh my gosh, really?
Dad, so
can we go?
When you get off that,
we're already banned from YouTube. Fuck.
Did you say we're starting a band?
No, I said we're already banned.
I've been in a couple bands, man. Let's go.
A couple already?
Yeah.
How does that go?
What, being in a band?
Yeah.
For one, you got to be able to play an instrument.
For sure.
And you got to know some of the notes: A, B, C, D, E, F, G. And they're in between. There are no sharp or flats in between E and F and B and C. That's why on a piano there are two white keys next to each other.
Oh.
That's the reason, because in between E and F.
So the black keys
what do you mean?
The black keys are flats or sharp. A lot of people don't realize this, but say you're on C and you go to that, your C is a white key. And then you go up to the next black key, that's C sharp. And then the next white key is D. So C, D, but in between that C sharp is also D flat. Same key.
So
same notes.
are you pretty efficient on a piano then too?
I'm not that great on a piano.
No.
I do know the structure of theory a little bit, but I started out drums, like I said, which there's not really a lot of note-based stuff in drums, and then I got into acoustic guitar where I learned a little theory.
I don't know how to play. Maybe I'll start singing now that I have these mics.
Get a harmonica,
dude. Low key karaoke night would be a vibe.
Yeah,
that'd be kind of fun.
Yeah.
I've been listening and watching a lot of Harry Mack lately. Dude, that dude can like freestyle. He's just some influencer YouTuber, but he's an artist, rapper. But he'll get a posse of people, a crowd of people, just get random words, and he'll just start freestyle and incorporate the words through and through. But like his beat, the timing, all comes from his percussion years back in the day. And just like, and it's just like
I love doing that.
It's impressive on how like he can just kind of flow.
He's got it all. He can do the music and sing.
Yep.
And he's got the poetry in behind it.
And like even the words he's not thinking about, he'll incorporate other people. Justin with the camo jacket did it. And it's just like, as like for smooth brain me, it blows my fucking brain sometimes,
That's awesome.
So it's entertainment at its most.
I wouldn't mind, learning how to play like a drum machine and stuff.
That'd be cool. Like a keypad or something like that.
Just make little beats and
and
like
stuff.
Yeah, Roland makes a really cool little drum machine, and they came out with the sounds that we all love off of old hip hop and stuff, 808s, 909s, which is sounds, the cowbell and the snare, and it's got that trappy, they were using that back in the 80s, I think. They developed those sounds.
I love that. Well, guys, we are 1 hour in right now. Nice. I kind of have to pee because I drink too much liquid. You want to take a quick break?
Yeah, let's take a little rest.
Come right back.
Sounds good.
All right, guys, we'll be right back.
See you in a minute.
Brother burnt out together with it, and I tried to fill their big shoes alone, and I just wasn't able. So the whole hunting extravaganza, I tried to do it, just never worked out. But the one time I did do it was with my brother's son, so my nephew. We're sitting there, we're just fucking around in the blind, whatever, bow hunting, this and that. We're just being kind of loud, talking Pokemon and Fortnite, whatever, and we're like, oh, fuck it, we're not going to see a deer, we're not going to see nothing, whatever. And we're sitting there, and he's like, Bo, buck, there's a buck. I'm looking around. I'm like, holy shit, dude. Like 40 yards. There's a buck sitting right there, dude. I'm like, I'm shaking already. I'm asking my 8-year-old nephew if I should shoot the fucking thing, dude. Like, I mean, with a name like me, you think I'll just be pinned back, ready to go. Dude, I'm like nervous, shaking like a leaf. So I get it, and like I have some practice. I'm not out there just whiffing shots, so I'm not like taking a shot I shouldn't, trying to wound an animal unexperienced, so like.
My one hunting experience, that's exactly what I did.
Yeah, I hit the thing. I got it. I got a good shot off it. I hit it, We were like, holy shit, that just happened, So we let it do its thing, run off, die, and never found it.
Never found it.
Me and my brother and nephew, we tracked it for hours and hours and hours. We went
It
there
was
the
a
next
buck?
day. It was a buck. It was a nice one.
A really large buck is known for being able to run way further and stay alive. And so when you go, if you do hit one and you get a chance to see one, which is. It's rare to be able to see a big one like right there and get to shoot it.
Yeah, and I think too. It survived the shot too, because I think it. I don't know. It wasn't like the best shot, right? But it was a pretty tricky shot that I did take, But like I think it just was a little too on the front side of its chest in a sense. But a little bit of blood here, then it'd be like 60 yards. It's a drop. Another 60 yards. It's a drop. So I think it got away and did its thing.
The biggest buck that I ever shot was 154 inches, which they measure it. They measure their horns and they have deductions and stuff.
Yep.
The biggest one I ever shot, when we gutted it open, it had an arrow inside of it. It had already been shot by
probably fucking
an arrow.
me.
And it went in its back and was like in its spine and stuff like that.
Yep.
And I mean,
Tough.
this deer.
I saw one floating around the internet that you saw like the arrow
that's real
in the eye socket.
That's real
and you're like,
that's real. That stuff happens a lot. I mean, that's not the first time I've seen an arrow in a deer. I actually have it on video.
That's wild.
Hunting's fun though.
Well, guys, welcome back. Sorry to cut you off.
Yeah. Welcome back.
I'm gonna do a quick clap so I can align this up somehow. But that was a good story, so I'm gonna keep this in.
Welcome back to Between
back.
the Lines.
Between the Lines.
It's a working title.
Okay. It's a good title though. I mean, are you gonna work off that title and change it, or are you going something with a new riff?
I just wanted to start and I didn't have a good name, and so
ChatGPT.
because of angles, like the space between two intersecting lines is an angle. So then I was like between two lines, and then I don't know.
It's growing on me.
There's too many things.
I like it.
Yeah.
But then it's really like by the way two lines. So I don't know. Really.
Well, dude, it's like made with mine like up and around. People go up and away. It's like I get it, like up and away, whether you're a Kid Cudi fan or like just the typical up and away. But like drone, I'm going up and around. And then ever since then, I couldn't think of something different. But yeah, when people say up and away, I just let them roll with it. I don't fucking even correct them. So yeah,
no, you're right.
By the way, it is what it is. So don't feel bad.
I was gonna say, do you ever think of names and then store them on your phone? Like I have a couple really great. Like I have Wisco Wolves on Instagram, and I'm like locked out of it, and I'm like trying to get back into it.
That's a pretty good one.
I created it like in Brooklyn, fucking a million years ago.
Are you in hopes of like somebody like, I want that?
I just filed Wisco Wolves LLC for like the LLC. I'm gonna put like the podcast and all of my creative trips through.
Okay,
just for like a back end name.
You're locked out of it though.
Yeah, because it's associated with a phone number that I no longer have, and so I can't. And then, I don't know. Someone with the email was being.
Are you a real alien, man? Can you not like things are? You're a real alien.
No, but if you don't use a Gmail account and you don't use the right phone, like if your phone number changes, then you can lose an account, and that's kind of what's happening. Like I don't know if I can get back into this Gmail account either because it's set up with 2 verifications to a phone that I don't have. So it's like I might just be locked out of it.
You could be toasted. I just got my iCloud back, and we used a old, just debit card, whatever, at the time when we activated it for this. And so verification, they wanted the debit card number. So we put the debit card number, the security code, the expiration date. Everything matched up. but it didn't authorize because the card was expired, so it wasn't even a card at the point. But even then, that's the card they were requesting, but the card was invalid because it expired. So it's like, dude, it's me, it's the card.
I know.
Fucking,
So annoying. I haven't reached out to them to try to get it back yet. I have a couple other good ones. I have White Hot Space, which is kind of a fun one. I have Meta Dirt, which is kind of a fun one. I
like Meta Dirt.
I have
Meta Dirt.
Fresh Napalm, which I thought was a cool one.
Pretty good.
But I always think like, oh, that would be a good sexy girl page, like fire hot content, fresh
Right.
napalm. You know, like just like something
like a
in that
stripper
world. You know what I mean?
napalm.
I never used it, but I have it like snagged up. I have Eau Claire's Finest too, which I might
That's
do.
pretty good. That's a good one.
Yeah.
Be decent.
Keeps it.
It's
total
too.
Eau Claire,
It's
though.
so ego.
Too Eau Claire-y.
It's so well. That's why it could work because it's like no one outside of here like knows it, so
Right.
it's like kind of works then. But then if you have it here and you're also here, it makes you look like an egomaniac. So it's like I don't know.
As long as what you're doing is just on point and like has a lot of love and desire that's coming out of it, you know.
Yeah.
You could call it anything. Like I have a problem with trying to make names up of something. If I'm trying to name a song or a band or some project that I'm a part of, there's a lot of anxiety involved with committing to something because we have a lot of good ideas as artists, you know, and then we write them down. Like you just named off 5 different names, and I think they're all like legit and they're good.
Yeah.
But to really nail something down and go with it and say, hey, this is going to be my flagship, it's hard to make the actual final decision.
Yeah.
So yeah.
I always usually don't start things until I have a name for it.
Yeah, and
So it becomes kind of hard.
But this way with Between Two Lines, you said screw it and just went at it,
Yeah.
and I like that.
I mean, in a sense, it makes you know, because 2 lines, 1 person, the other, as you're doing a podcast. Granted, there's 3 of us, you know, but you guys are having a conversation in between those 2 lines.
He's
you know,
between
so
the 2 lines.
Yeah.
In a certain sense,
There-
it's
there
kind of
it
me
is, too.
And,
You know?
and the thing is like, at first I gave him shit because of what Zach Galifianakis did with the Ferns, you know, but
Yeah,
it doesn't necessarily matter because like what he did was epic and great, and taking little pieces of what people do and things is okay to do. When he gave me the description of how the angles are, say it again, Max. How does it go between two lines?
Essentially, the space between 2 intersecting lines is an angle, right?
Yes.
And so that was like part of the play when I did my angles book, like where angles kind of came from. And then
Yes.
I'm like, oh, because angles is so shadow banned and I get awful engagement and
Right.
the page has been just like not that great.
You business thought out of that.
That's why I was like, I need another platform to start growing organically that's like in the middle somewhere, right?
Nice. Yeah.
Because it's not.
Yes.
I unfortunately I'm trying to do local stuff around here, but I want to keep that pretty separate from the stuff that I'm doing in other cities because I don't, you know, when you get in that world of you're shooting supermodels and shit, and then all of a sudden you're shooting normal people, like people think you fall off and stuff. So I've been trying to like.
I don't think that
That's why
people can.
I'm
but-
not worried about people in Eau Claire thinking about that.
Right,
I'm
I
worried
see.
about the people in LA worrying about like that kind of stuff. And
as long as you tell it how it is, like this, like
Yeah.
you're doing right now, and people can see that, and the folks that live wherever,
well, it's
they'll know
it's
it.
just about cross pollinating.
Yeah.
If you're, because I don't want to be tied into one like one thing.
Does it seem like to be too much of a balance? Like in the drone world, at least, it seems like when you're out there researching, you need to be dialed in on just thermal, dialed in on just LiDAR, dialed in on just racing or FPV work. But to me, dude, I think I can fucking do it all. I want to do it
Yeah.
all. I want to.
Then you probably
But there's
can.
also
Monday I got
there's
thermal,
there's also
Tuesday
drone
FPV.
influencers getting millions of views just getting paid to test gear. So
Yeah,
it's
but
like,
you
it's,
also got to do all this
But
shit
that's
to get to
been
that
done.
point.
That's been done already, and these guys are doing it. And if you're passionate about being an influencer and you want to call people and try to get, you know, sponsorships,
Yep.
then that's a whole type of business in itself. And I actually, it's it's good to do because it helps you financially, which all of our companies that we do need finances, even to research better stuff, because this kind of stuff is changing all the time. Podcast stuff, like, is this gear going to be legit in 2 years? Yeah, it will be. But,
think so.
But there's going to be some stuff that is going to be a little bit different.
probably not these mics. I already want new ones, but it's fine.
Yeah, but these mics are doing a fine job.
I want to just hold a mic.
You can hold that
comedian style.
one. You can take that.
I
one
know
out.
you can, but then you're dealing with like
A little bit of the
you know what I
ticketing.
mean? You're not on this setting for sure.
No, not this setting.
Yeah,
No, we're on a Shure SM7B setting, and it's working good.
It sounds
was
good.
It was a little hard to adjust, but I think all the different settings on this.
Because yesterday
unit are
I
good.
actually tried to set that up for hand holding yesterday, and I got. Whoops, sorry about that, guys. I got there, but then I also decided it was better just to have the stand like that and just hold the stand. Yeah,
It works.
and then even that you could just get it like a little mic stand even.
Yeah. The main thing is just getting the sound right. You know, like what we have in our hand.
Well, I'd like to be on a table.
Yeah.
To be honest,
Yeah,
the
you
problem is
I agree.
the round table, and it's too small to get under. Really,
Right.
I think it kind of looks like we're under it though from the view.
This is
I think it kind of
one.
looks like it's
That's a good vibe. I like this. So
Yeah, I do like the vibe.
living room. I mean, I really kind of want this downstairs, but right now it's just too cold down there. So then we're in the living room, but it does make it feel kind of nice.
Yeah, it's good.
that's probably gonna be the fun part though. Having a podcast is the free range to kind of decorate, change this, the
I'm not-
agendas, guests. You can finick with whatever. You can have a different setup kit if you're on the go.
Yeah, well, because I'm already creating content with so many people,
Yep.
I was like, this is such an easy thing to add on. Because like ideally, I don't want to shoot a ton of people all the time, like condensed, like I did in LA.
Right.
So then, if you're just shooting 1 or 2 people in a day, it's like very easy to be like, oh, let's do a podcast too. And
Pop
then,
it up. Yep.
I was gonna say something, but I forgot after that. But anyways, dead time on the air.
Space cadet.
We're an hour and 10 minutes in.
So can you fly drones in a snowstorm?
You know what I do? I mean, depending, right? Like you can do like.
Did you crash it the first time you did it?
I've crashed a few times in like trees and just in the snow where it kind of disappears. So you can turn on the beeping. You can hear it go beep beep.
How many times do you think you've crashed drones? Honestly, like you've been doing it for 3 years.
It's pretty
4 years?
easy to do.
I mean, like probably hundreds of times, or maybe like 20 times.
Some pilots would probably laugh at this number, but like 100 plus.
Yeah,
But that's a lot.
I don't think you'd laugh at it because you're testing it out on your own and you're doing edgy things.
Dude, like I'll practice a lot of my tricks on a simulator on the computer.
Nice.
But like you get the feel of like a power loop, but then like when you're out there, dude, it's weird just sitting in one spot and you're just shaking because your adrenaline's just through the fucking roof. You go over and then you just see the cement coming in hot and then you crash your $600+ drone. And some drones, DJ has a really good drone that's FPV related, but it's like a $600 just drone. But if you get the full kit, it's $1,000+. So if you crash it, mom, dad, crash my fucking drone.
Yeah.
It's expensive, but if it was one of us, we can maybe buy back or rebuild, which some do, So
Yeah, I
like,
see
if
that
you can
there's
get over
companies doing that.
Yeah, so if you can get over the fact of crashing, then you can get better and push yourself. But if you kind of restrict yourself by not crashing, then you're kind of restricting your ability on doing better, bigger things.
Yeah, my biggest thing with drones is like if I'm shooting like this and then you need to stop or something. It's like figuring out that time with this because I haven't put my hours in on a drone. But like, I feel like you got to get to know that fucking.
Yeah,
thing.
you feel the spatial awareness and stuff like that, especially like you get your sin whoops, you get your 5 inches, you get your 7-inch long distance drones where people sitting there going kilometers away at a time to fly, But then like depending on what you fly, your mindset puts yourself there in it as you're doing it.
Yeah, I've only ever fucked with the Maverick Pros.
Yeah, dude. As soon as you put those FPV goggles on, no matter if you're flying analog or digital, it's a game changer.
Wow, the goggles are.
Dude.
Because you're
it's
fully
weird.
you're locked in.
You're immersed into it. Yeah.
Wow.
For
but
sure.
then I like being able to see the drone.
I mean, technically, this is so funny. So, like, when you fly a drone legally, you have to have visual line of sight, so VOS or VLOS.
Yeah.
But when you fly FPV, technically, I should have one of you guys there to have visual line of sight on my drone because as soon as I put the goggles on, I now have no visual line of sight.
Yeah, that's the thing that's what scares me the most because I'm like I don't understand the radius of that thing, where it is, how far away, like
It
how much.
should tell you though. It should tell you that you are like if you keep flying in this direction, you got to turn around.
Yeah,
they should have that integrated.
Oh, I'm
into
more thinking about hitting something.
I mean,
like if you're flying through area or you're flying through anything tight, or you're going up and down, like you gotta know what the fuck is around you.
Okay.
Yeah, I mean, so like if like when I go fly FPV, I like when I was just out in South Dakota, just flying. I was diving some of these mountains that were out there. You assess the area, see where you are, the high lines, the power lines that may be. You know, you get in your goggles, it tells you your home point. So everything's kind of like your HUD is looking good in there. Your distance from you, where you are. If your drone happens to lose reception, battery, it'll automatically go to where you are and land.
Okay.
But depending on how you're flying, it may say beep 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 beep. There's an object that still stop you from flying. But if you're flying full manual, you can just fucking crash that shit, you know? So like people will panic. Like the first time I ever crashed, it was funny. I went to show my wife. I was like, watch this shit. Like the first time I was flying, you know, I panicked, thought up was this one, but this was just fucking forward. I crashed right into a tree, and she's just like, you know, like, nice, dude, like, way to fucking go. And it's just like, well, you know, that's, you know, so panic pressure kicked in at the moment. Like, I know the controls, I know how to fly the thing, but, you know, just trying to show off a bit, and I paid the price for it. But
totally. That's a focus of mine this year. I'm buying my first drone this year.
Dude, we could fly together. I need more people to fly.
I want the Maverick Pro 3. It's like $4,000. I almost got it, but then I got fired.
I mean, depending on what you want with it, you can, if you're just trying to do photo video.
Yeah, I just want photo video.
You could probably spend a lot less for maybe the same amount.
I need the lenses.
Keep that budget.
I want the long lens.
Dude.
Yeah.
Sorry about that. You want long lens for sure, because depending on what you're doing, like.
Yeah, I want that cinematic. It's the best cinematic one, I think.
I got a friend, Obi down in Madison. Shout out. He does some really good shots of the Capitol, and he's got the telescopic lens on his, and he'll be distance away, and it's just crisp.
It's the Hasselblad.
It looks
Hasselblad, dude.
good.
I want that one.
It's so good.
Part of that arting it up.
I know. I might. I mean, now that we have the LSC, I might even just get it through the company.
Do you know anything about photography or video? Because some of the stuff that you might do with your drone has that involved in it, like a SD card. Like, would you go shoot something and then just give them the card, or would you edit it? Or?
I do my own editing and stuff like that. So I dabble a little bit here and there and learn to go.
What do you use for editing?
Lightroom and Premiere and stuff like that.
Cool.
So just Adobe based stuff.
Yep.
And then like I use Artlist for audio, sound effects, stuff like that. But now, like, I'm trying to take on more weddings. I got DJ microphones and stuff. So
nice.
Like I flew for Dirty Bird, the golf simulator bar here by Wagner's, and I got like all my audio that's in that clip from that day for myself, which I haven't done before. So like all the glass clinking, all the sound effects came from me recording.
Nice.
Otherwise, I'd pay for it, you know. So I'm trying to just expand what I can do and try to have more fun with it.
Yeah, put that on a hard drive and keep that in its file of its own, and you can make all your own sounds and noises and stuff.
It's crazy how many more people lately have been asking just for just random clips of Eau Claire. I'm just like, no, but shit, I'm just gonna go start filming just random stuff.
Who's asking for what?
County, like Eau Claire County, just asking for like clips of like, do you have like just a solo shot of the Phoenix, you know, confluence area of the rivers meeting up, or like the Phoenix downtown area shot, you know? So you know,
did you ask them if they have a budget for that?
Yeah, so some of it's like included in the grant. So like Eau Claire County reached out for like, what is it? There's like they're doing some sort of like room type of setup that's telling stories, like the legacy room it's called, and they're using 4 of my drone shots to tell the story of like the Banbury place. There's like the shot of like the Eau Claire water tower and stuff, so there'll be photo posted with my name credited with like a story underneath it, so when they're in the conference rooms you'll see these photos and stuff like that.
Nice, dude.
Yeah, so it's cool. Yeah,
that's sick.
Mm-hmm. And like
do you submit anything to like stock video or like Adobe stock or anything like
I contribute to Volume 1 in town. I don't really sell stock stuff like that. I don't really.
I'm just thinking stock drone footage, like there's probably money in
Does
that.
Volume 1 pay you for your shots, or they get you in there and put your name out there?
Put my name out there for the most part, and it's fun. They throw little parties and stuff like that. I get some awards and stuff.
All right, Nick, I'm giving you a shout out. This guy, send him a check, you know, send him something, give him a little something. He's an artist. He's got a couple kids.
I don't think Volume 1 likes me.
I think Nick loves me. We're on good terms. Nick's a good guy. He's got me some good gigs and stuff like that. He's got me into some pretty fun opportunities. Even if I don't get paid,
he's a cool. He's got a lot of
volume, more like volume numb.
I can give a shout out. I can give a shout out for Nick to pay you
for sure. Yeah, there you go. I'll take it.
I don't know who he is.
Nick Meyer. He's a good guy. But yeah, I mean, I shot the Coon Fork 40 this year. It was promo, right? But it was the opportunity to fly. And the thing, I guess it wasn't promo my booth, but like I had my logo was plastered everywhere at the event, which I didn't expect. So like when you go up there, you see like the finished bit and my name and my logo and all that shit's up there. So it's cool to see, you know. Yep. And then I also got to experience FPV at an event, which is different totally from what I was doing.
And this is the beginning of your company.
Trying to be.
Yeah, so you get that out there and you do that stuff, and then next time you'll say, hey, I can do this, but hey, how about that? You got to stay in it.
I'm trying to trying to bend before the break happens, you know, but it's figuring it out.
It'll get breakity sometimes, man. It's okay.
I guess
It's okay for it to get breakity, dude. It's I've owned a couple businesses. I had a roofing business and I toured with a band for a few years, and then I also have a tattoo shop, and it can get that way. You just got to find your source of inspiration and migrate to that. Keep your family close to you and solid, and when in doubt, always go back to your kids and your wife and just, you know, hug them and grab them and just let them know, you know, let them know how you feel. And it's not going to be easy, dude.
No,
it ain't going to be easy. And you're going to, and the better you do, people come at you. Like, you know, Max had a whole account taken away that was it was his blood, his sweat, his tears. And look at him now. He got through it. It went like this. And he's like, you know what? Guess what? I learned from that, but it will come up. Yep. You know, don't give up on it though. If you love it, you'll wreck something that was $10,000. I mean, you might buy the $16,000 drone, and you might take it up there and feel good with it. And you know, I know that's what insurance is for, but you know, like I suggest that you get insurance on it if you get something that large, and eventually, I don't know if your drones are insured now, but one day, you'll want to have all that. You know,
he's got to be right.
There you go.
He's doing for clients.
Yeah, you're doing. You got it going on, but you'll hit some roadblocks here and yonder.
Yeah, that's why, like, whether it's like I dwell or imposter syndrome, or I get all stuck up about somebody else doing better than me when they're cutting corners that I work so hard not to cut. Yeah, you know, but at the end of the day, hone in, try to just stay the fuck out of the way. Either I'm not good at it, but try to stay out of the way, tend to what I can touch, and just enjoy it, dude. You know, but like it's not easy, you know. But again, I'm just a drop in the bucket compared to everybody else, you know. But like, you know, I
think you're a great personality, dude. I think you got to keep pushing it, and I think you should think about being kind of the drone influencer around here and who people go to for the drone. I mean, it's only going to benefit you.
I get a lot of calls and just random messages. Hey, I got a drone question. What should, you know, this and that. You know, I don't gatekeep the information, because like, it was hours and hours and hours of research. And if I can help out people on like whether it's a gift for their kid or a benefit for whatever, I'm not going to be like, well, that could be money I could make, so I'm not going to tell you. It's like, no, dude, get this, you know, for sake of this, you know. So
because hobbyists, I mean, photography is the same way, right? Like, I think if you think like that, it's actually toxic.
Yeah.
And like the people that are trying to learn, like they're not threats to you.
No, dude. Like there's money to be made for everybody. It's just, again, like
that's the Midwest famine mentality. They don't think there's enough to go around, but we live in a global world, and like you can easily make this work. You can. But you have to believe in it.
When you teach things that to you feel are secrets that you've developed, and it doesn't mean that they always are, but you learned something, you did something wrong 6 times and you found a way through it, and then you see somebody else struggling with that same problem, you have somewhat of a like as a teacher, you're going to want to tell them what's right.
Yeah. Yep.
And as a businessman thinking about dollars, you're going to just want to turn around and shut up. And that's a lot of the struggle of business and art and friendship and stuff like that, is knowing where to draw that line. Like I want to come help on something that's really awesome, you know, and I want to donate, and I know that I have worth to it, but in a sense we're doing art. So as soon as you bring money in, it kind of changes changes the energy a bit sometimes. Yep. And so being able to deal with that, but you have to be able to, I mean, coming from a perspective where I've taught people things that have made them tens of thousands, if not hundreds of thousands of dollars. Okay. And my dad did it when he was in the service. He used to work on CAT scanners, and he would go in and teach people all this stuff, you know?
Yeah.
And it does help them make money. I think in a long run, it's good to help people to learn things so that they can make money. There is a point where they start making so much, and you do feel like, man, I taught them that, or something that, you know what?
Do you think teaching helps you become better too?
Definitely.
Yeah, dude, you put that fucking feather in your hat, you fucking tip it, and you move on.
As long as you're humble. As long as you're humble as a teacher, and you're willing to, like, say you're a cook and you're a master chef, when you always have that heart to be able to go ahead and do the dishes because you know they need to be done before you can start prepping again or cooking again.
Wait a second. Isn't that Pedro's job?
You got me laughing before I thought about it. But you do have to be able to, you got to know that you have to know all the parts about it, you know, like even doing the sound for this, that has nothing to do with what we're talking about, or doing the lighting. Like Max, you got epic lighting. You have some different lights in here, and we're in a good room and a set like that. That's one part of it. Once you figure out all
Thanks
the pieces,
to you, man.
Hey, man.
Like I said from the very
Helping
first
brothers
episode, this thing would never have happened without my friends, and I had great mentors. So I feel like I'm at the same age my mentor picked me up at. So I'm trying to bring people in and have good conversations. And
you've done a lot. For
this
me.
is a learning process for me. Anytime I'm learning something new in a technology I can utilize, I get excited. So
And it's fun.
and then when you meet people that are excited about it, those are the best people to be around for it. You know, it's like, I don't know. I think it's meant to be. I think we need to figure out a name for your podcast, and we should just do it. Just start doing it.
I'm not
Just do it, literally.
I'm not gonna, mess around the bush. I'm gonna keep asking this AI for like ideas, because the thing is,
I turned another one on.
I'm not trying to
AI.
seem like a cop out, at all. But we've all learned everything we know from somebody. You didn't invent aperture and the colors, but there is color, right?
Well, no, but AI is a perfect example of how my mindset is not like that, where that's knowledge you could keep to yourself. Where like I take the opposite approach of like, give it to as many people because it's going to help them.
See, I've been at the angle to like, I'm not going to say keep it to myself. Like I said, I have taught people a lot of stuff. But
you've been a mentor of mine, so I totally get it.
When it comes to putting stuff out there and like letting people into who I am, even if it's from this angle, I have been a bit reserved, and I don't, I think I have a little bit of like a type of a PTSD, because I've had some things happen to me that has made me back away from showing people art. But I'm at the point now where I'm ready to let it out there. I'm ready to, show some of these songs and some of these pieces and do some wilder things and talk about it.
Yeah.
Be okay with talking
and
about it.
I love that. Mm-hmm. Well, that's the nice thing about the internet too. It's like, honestly, like I'm doing this not even for the people around here. This is for me and like the people I can connect myself with. So it's like I'm broadcasting to the world versus like thinking so micro.
Yeah, but if our friends and our family around here are watching this and they're checking it out and they're wanting to see what Bo is talking about and me, it is for some people around here.
Yeah,
you know what I'm saying?
No,
I mean,
100%.
at this point, like.
But I mean, like curating as I always talk as the artist, right? Because I see you guys are both artists as well, doing your thing and trying to figure out like your brands. I know you're way more established, obviously.
And I'm way
old man over here.
I'm the old boy.
It's kind of a nice little trickle, actually.
I kind of like it at this point. I like being a little bit, I'm not really that old, but I don't feel old. But
no, you're not.
I do have some gray
status
hairs
over here.
I kind of lost my train of thought, but
I got gray hair too, though, so don't worry. It's just hidden.
But I don't know. I think giving back is the best way to keep the art moving forward. And for me, I'm always thinking, I do think a lot about like making money off the art. Like, unfortunately for me, it's because I don't want to go back to working in a factory. Like, I don't want to go back to the slave rate. But then also working full time for another artist when you're 38 years old, you get to that point where you're like, okay, I know I need to get to my own self at some point. And like, so that's where I'm at right now, of like really trying to recreate myself. Yeah. Obviously, I'm from Eau Claire, so I love it here.
Right,
I chose to move back here. I never thought I would, to be honest. I really
didn't. You didn't think you would? And I saw that in you a long time ago.
For a long time, I was like, yo,
he was like,
Eau Claire.
You were, and you did.
Yeah. I got out. I don't know. Like, there's a lot of different realities you can live in. Like, you can, getting out there and experiencing it, you kind of understand. And so, but then it opens your eyes to like, well, it depends how you look. Everything's how you decide to look at it. So
you have a grand perception of your audience and everything, what you're doing too. And that vision that you have of it being outside of Eau Claire, I think that's fucking awesome. You know,
well, I think
rip it up.
There's 70,000 people here. Like, dude, I got more people on my Instagram. I'm gonna bleep all that, by the way. So we're going back in right now.
Sweet, dude. That was awesome. Yeah. That was killer.
But yeah, I mean, I'll tell you off platform for sure. But then it's like, to get to even my organic 25,000, that took close to 10 years, like that. Yeah. And I'm not willing to sell my soul for like cheap content. Like I've always looked at like what I've done is like, okay, we were doing something on another level. Like I'm not, I've never got into it for the clicks. So to like cheapen myself and start doing like, the cheap TikTok content that you see nowadays.
But essentially the clicks turn into money later on at some point.
Right.
Yeah. But if you're doing shit you don't love, then it's like, you can do anything for money.
Balance.
Yeah.
I can go get this guy for cheaper, blah, 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 blah. Well,
and you should.
Yeah.
You definitely should. I'm at the point now where that's what I say.
That's what you got to do.
You can, I don't know. I guess in the end you have to create a system that pays for the art, but
that's where your multitasking and talenting comes in. Like for me, I can go to the tattoo shop and I can make some really good money tattooing, but I can't always do that mentally and sometimes even physically, because if you hold on to some machine for too long, it's like holding your arms up in the air or something like that. I like doing it. I like gaining those muscles, but you have to counteract that and balance it with something totally different. Like sometimes I feel like going and like doing a roof or helping somebody rake leaves or coming on adventure with you. And you're like, hey bro, could you help me? Like I could pay you $50, but can you hold these lights? It's like, yeah, I want to come because that's fun for me. Yeah. And I become a part of something and I get a perspective from it. Mm-hmm. And even though I can go over here and make $1,000 or $800 or $500 or whatever, I'm still willing to put the money aside and gain the gain the day and gain my soul. Yeah, the experience and just like the sanctity of having it, and then
Well, the thing about photography though, you got to think like how many professional photo shoots do you think there are a week in Eau Claire?
You talking about budgeted out over 2,000?
Compared to even tattoos, I bet there's way more money in tattoos here.
Oh, for sure.
Easily.
Oh, for sure.
Whew.
For sure.
I mean, budget.
Sheesh.
But do you think, you'd have to look at.
But that's why I live here peacefully now, because I'm not after the market here.
But you're not shooting weddings and stuff like that, like.
Thank fucking God.
Yeah. I mean, you could advertise as doing senior pictures and weddings. Okay, and not that you haven't, because everybody learns from that. It's like me. It's like me doing a little lettering.
I don't work with anybody in high school, so
they still need a little banger.
Because of my background, I can't. I don't shoot anybody under. If you're in high school, I don't talk to you.
Right. But that's because you do sexy content and you work with like high end models, right? And that's understandable from a legal perspective. That is like a business.
No, I've done senior portraits, but I try to shoot. Honestly, I go more for the college kids. Like they do graduation photos and shit.
I wanted you to shoot my daughter's stuff, and I told her that I'm like, check this dude out.
You're
I can have him, and she was like, cool, but she didn't even utilize it. And you were like, yeah, I would, and it never happened. So I thought it would have been cool. But
one day.
Yeah, it's not that you said no to it. It's just that my daughter didn't. She went somewhere else.
I know, that's how it goes.
Yeah, so I mean, that's.
At the end of the day, it's your editing.
It's your eye. It's your
honestly,
angle,
you know what it is? It's I'm intimidating to people around here, so they see my work and they're like, "No,
this fucking freak over here."
Over
I'm serious though.
Get over it.
A lot of people are intimidated by it.
Yeah, but get over it, man. Like I'm intimidated by stuff too. I'm intimidated by sitting down and talking about these things. But if I don't jump in and do it, I ain't gonna work through it.
Totally. I think the best thing about this is just my absolute need to let go of what's going on.
I think so.
You know what I mean? Like where you're like, okay, podcasting. I think this is my 8th episode.
That's nice. I mean, that's
kind of fun.
You've got the groove. You're finding the flow.
Yeah. I'm still trying to learn. Like I get kind of obsessive about things. Then I'm like, okay, I'll see how I can make major improvements quick. And then I'm trying to get to Miami by probably the end of March, maybe a little later. But I want to go back. I want to go there with a really professional tone on, like I know what I'm doing.
Right. Yeah. Where it's more of a when you get there, it's more
that's when I might come up with
less
a name.
Troubleshooting,
professional
more production.
tone.
I might actually have a name.
Good. Don't say it now, but keep it in there.
I don't have it.
I might have a name. I don't have it.
It's not there. I don't have it yet. I'm trying to figure it out. Well, we've been on the pod for an hour and a half now. I know you got to kind of get out of here.
Yeah, for sure, dude.
Yeah, good talking with you, Bo.
Yeah,
very interesting.
Nice to meet you, my man.
You got any plugs? You want to plug out? Just shout out your plugs, dude.
Up and around, just drone content and an indoor, outdoor drone video photography type of stuff like that. Nothing too crazy. I mean, kind of sounds like run of the mill, but I tell you what, dude, if you hire me or hang out with me, it's down for a good time type of situation. So
it's cool content. You should check it out. Yeah. It's always fun to watch
YouTube,
clips.
Instagram, Facebook, just trying to expand, grow. You know, I mean, it's
No TikTok?
a little. I do have a TikTok, yeah, but I
Nice.
upload as I remember.
We don't.
We're on our way.
We're about to
Alright.
get on
Yeah,
the
we're on our
TikTok,
way.
dude. Old man
My
style.
wife runs it. I just throw her a video, post this, and she posts it. So
Yeah.
Yeah, man, hey,
it works
can
out.
I do a drone tattoo on you, bro?
Dude, you could do my logo.
Okay.
His logo's cool.
I do have a drone on my logo.
Shout
so-
out Midwest Tattoo.
Yeah,
Shout out Midwest
Hang
Tattoo,
loose.
dude.
20
Let's
years
go.
strong.
Yeah, 20 years strong. 20 years strong.
You should let me
That's
tattoo
awesome.
that on you.
we have four of us, and we're down at Valley Commons. It used to be the Artisan Forge building.
Okay.
We're at Valley Commons on Mondovi Road, and my wife and I own the shop. Her name is Kayla, or on Instagram, it's
Shout out.
Midwest Ray, and on Instagram I'm Diver Ida, and we also have a couple other ladies tattooing down there too that are really good. Brooke Ross and Kylie Heath.
I heard it's just a gang of hot girls down there.
It is. It is.
That's a good reason to go down there and get a tattoo, guys.
Yeah. We had some walk-ins today that were really fun.
Anyways, thanks for joining us again, guys. It was a great night. Thank you.
Thank you.